Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Clouds are gathering and Kenyans are not shying away from telling William Ruto that we are tired, pack your belongings and leave Statehouse, or better still, you are the worst president we have ever seen. From the opposition leaders to certain members of the Kenya Kwanza regime, to the clergy, to the human rights group, they have all ganged up and they are telling William Ruto, we are tired. You saw Miguna telling William Samuel Ruto that come 2027, people will not remember your eloquence and the way you speak some good English when you go to the European Parliament. People will only remember the high taxes, the high cost of living, the insecurity that is rocking our country, how people have lost jobs. And on Sunday, Reverent Sammy Wainaina gave a stunning sermon, a sermon that I call a sermon of the year. And he called out on Ruto, telling him that we cannot keep quiet as you keep on threatening us. We cannot keep quiet as you keep on increasing taxes and we hear about corruption in the country. Now, after that stunning speech, Reverend Wainaina hit the headlines, and he was in Spice FM, where he corroborated the facts as he mentioned them. And he was on MTV. I followed up that conversation because I thought he would be cowed. I thought whatever he was speaking in church would be different from what he speaks when he's called upon on TV or on radio, because sometimes you could meet vehicles, government vehicles waiting for you outside. And people are wondering how safe the Reverend is. I want us to watch this video because briefly what the Reverend is saying is that William Ruto is holier on Sunday together with his Kenya Kwanza brigade, singing in church and praying. And then he walks out of that church. Then he threatens people with a sword that was given, that it's not for cutting vegetables but will cut people. And he was saying that we need a tough government, a tough president, not an autocrat. Remember, the other day Murkomen said that the Rwandan president Paul Kagame is an autocrat, and Wainaina is telling him that you are the number one autocrat. So Wainaina is saying we don't need an autocrat, but a tough president who will reign on corruption, who will reign on the people who interfere with the government. And is saddened by the fact that they are committing blasphemy. They are using the name of the Lord to ascend to power. Then when they get there, they start committing atrocities. And he's saying that this is the reason why he's mad on this government, because they used the name of the church to ascend to power, and they perpetuate the same thing. And then what makes him even saddest is the fact that he's telling us that the clergy has been compromised, and he's got a message to the Mpesa bishops. They have benefited, Wainaina says, from the brown envelope. They have benefited from Harambes, and so they have been muzzled and they cannot talk. And Wainaina feels that this is unacceptable. The church must rise up to speak against the ills in the society and in the government. But then he poses and says that he has seen people like the Nyeri Bishop Muheri Anthony, speak to this government and against corruption. And he says that Ole Sapit is also doing the same. But Wainaina is saying that he needs to hear them talk louder and with consistency. Not today and tomorrow you change tune. And then he says that William Ruto ascended to power as a man who had got solutions to this, to our problems. And he says, unfortunately, he has none. He has no solution. And then he says that today he will look at William Ruto in the face and tell him, I can't can't vote for you. In other words, he's saying William Ruto is a one-term president, and he's saying that he will not shy away. He will tell him that he will not vote for him. Ladies and gentlemen, kindly watch this video and tell me what you make out of it, because we need more and more courageous religious leaders to speak against this government.
Kenya will need a tough president. Not a hallelujah president. And you use religion to cover yourself as a politician. You know, that's dangerous. And you even make Christianity really look bad. Unfortunately, the church seems to be in bed with government. They seem to have benefited from government in the fundraisings, in the brown envelopes. The church has become a beneficiary of state. Clergy have become brokers, political brokers. The provost is back and he has picked from where he left. That's not a compliment. Actually, that's very sad. I shouldn't be the one speaking about these things. We have people who are seriously committed, seriously. But not everybody has the courage to say some of the things that I say. But I've seen my own Archbishop, Sir Pete, actually tell the government, somebody like Archbishop Muheria and the others, they are remnants, they are there sincerely. But what I want to hear them is to speak louder, to speak consistently. Governments in Kenya have suffered trust deficits. Nobody can trust them. But this one will suffer most because Ruto came out as a guy who has solution. Sorry, he hasn't. And he has disappointed me as a person. I'll tell him straight that on his face and tell him, Mr. President, I would not give you my vote. And you know why I'm even getting tougher with the current government? Because they provoke the name of God in whatever they do. Don't show piousness on a Sunday, and on Monday morning you sound very different, threatening people and telling them that that sword you are given is not a knife to cut sukuma wiki, that you'll deal with people. We don't want autocratic president. We want a president, yes, with power, but not threatening people.
Please don't forget to share your thoughts on the Reverend Wainaina. Do you think he is safe? Do you think he's safe? Because from the way he's doing it, he reminds me, as I always say, of the father of Mugunda, the late Ndingi Mwananzeki, Bishop Njoya. He reminds me of the then days when they could look at Moi in the eyes and tell him, we will not allow you. And let me tell you, if we have many and more of these bishops talking, and they unite together with the opposition, they unite together with the other religious groups and human rights activists, the Law Society of Kenya, we might just have a third revolution, or what I may call a third liberation, because the first one was against the colonial masters. The second one was against the Nyayo era. Today, we need to speak against an autocrat, a person who threatens people with the sword. It can only happen when we speak up. People like the courageous Reverend should be emulated. This is my take, ladies and gentlemen.